We're talking to one of the most legendary business leaders of our time, Jeff Bezos. We're talking to one of the most legendary business leaders of our time, Jeff Bezos. Thank you so much for talking to ET Now. In the last few weeks, we've seen the likes of Sheryl Sandberg, Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, you, and I hear Mark Zuckerberg next. All of you making a beeline to India. You know, was this part of some common plan or bet that you guys have? What is really driving all of you here?
Well, we're here because a year ago, when we started Amazon India, we had high hopes and we were optimistic, but in the last year what's happened has surpassed our highest expectations for how fast Amazon India has grown. It's working so well that we've decided to double down on it, and we have committed to another $2 billion of investment here in India. And so it's just very exciting, and I wanted to come and celebrate with the team the success of the past year, thank them. I got a chance to meet with some customers, and so it's been a really fun trip. I find India super energizing.
Right. Give us 3 specific metrics that won't change for India in the next 10 years as far as the business potential is concerned. The regret minimization framework you used to bet $2 billion here.
Well, I know for a fact 10 years from now, customers here in India will still want fast, accurate delivery. And so it's impossible to imagine 10 years from now that one of our customers here in India will say, I love Amazon, I just wish you deliver a little more slowly. That's not going to happen. So that's one. So we will keep working every day to make sure we're a little bit faster than we were yesterday, and keep working on that metric. A second one, of course, is selection. So customers like choice, so you want to have as much selection as possible. And the third is you have to work on cost structure. You know, here in India, one thing that's very unusual about India is there's so many small and medium enterprises, the SMEs. And our team here in India has invented some tools and some techniques to make it really easy for those small and medium enterprises to get online and kind of join this digital ecosystem and sell through Amazon India. And those small enterprises, they're bringing selection, and if we can work on the cost structure to lower the cost of getting those products to customers on behalf of those SMEs, then those SMEs will be able to afford to offer lower prices. And that's the third one I would give you. So it's just like fast delivery, big selection, and lower prices. Those are the 3 top metrics we would watch to know that we're delighting customers, and they're going to be the same 10 years from now.
Right. But you know, since the 90s, we've seen internet startups here come and go. What's different and sustainable this time around as far as the whole e-commerce place is concerned?
Well, I don't know for sure. We'll see. It's probably some will still go. So, you know, not every company is going to be successful. But one of the things that is changing is just how much mobile penetration there is here in India. So, you know, it's another thing that's quite unusual about India. Mobile is important all over the world, but here it's really impressive. And so many people are upgrading to smartphones, and smartphones are getting less expensive and more capable. The data plans are getting less expensive and more capable. So this is a very exciting time to be on the internet and offering services like Amazon India, because so many Indian customers have access to the services through their phones.
5 years back when you acquired Zappos, you said you were left weak-kneed by their customer obsession. Which of your rivals today leaves you weak-kneed?
I get weak-kneed around entrepreneurs. So it's when I met Tony Hsieh and his leadership team, I found them to be so impressive. And that's really what attracted me to Zappos. They have their own unique brand of customer service and customer experience. And so they were very aligned with Amazon in that regard.
They're just
as customer obsessed as we are.
Do the likes of an Alibaba, Flipkart, or a Snapdeal leave you weak-kneed as well?
I'm not going to talk about other companies, but I'll tell you what leaves me weak-kneed is anybody who's obsessed over customers.
Right. Amazon in the US has its fingers in just about everyone's pie. Google, IBM, Netflix, Apple, the list just goes on. Do you see scope for Amazon in India to extend its tentacles beyond e-commerce and web services? How's that going to pan out going forward?
Well, we also have Kindle here. So we have, in India, we have Kindle, we have Amazon Web Services, we have Marketplace. We also, in India, have a lot of operations. So we started in India 10 years ago. We launched a software development office in Bangalore, and then we subsequently built operations in Chennai and Hyderabad. So we've been doing business in various ways in India for a decade. Yeah, I mean, I think all the things that we do around the world that are successful, things that customers actually like and use, ultimately we would like to export them around the world and do them in India as well. What the timeline of those things are, we'd have to wait and see.
And have your operations here reached the sort of scale which encourages you to bring more of your innovations in the US? I mean, drone-based deliveries, a portal dedicated to wholesale merchants. Are those options that you will look at?
They're completely options, and they're things that should be considered and looked at. And the other thing that's happening, though, that I think is really exciting is that our local Amazon team here in India is inventing things that are India first, and then those things, some of them are so successful. There's one called EasyShip. EasyShip has been so successful, it's something that we invented, the local team here invented, that we're going to take that invention, move it to the rest of the world. So it's happening first in India.
Right. And you've been here for 4 days now. Have you taken out time to meet government officials at all to push for any changes in regulation? Because Amazon has been on record here to talk about how the laws here haven't kept up with changing business models.
I'm actually, I get asked this question a lot. It seems like everybody I meet with says, "Isn't India a hard place to do business?" But our impression, just based on the results to date, is that actually India is a very good place to do business. So are there obstacles? There always are obstacles. Anywhere you go, every country has their own unique regulations, their own rules. And our job is to follow all of those rules and to adapt our business practices to those rules. And I'm quite happy with the results, and that the team has figured out a way to do this and completely, within the constraints, and that's our job. And it's not different from any other country. Every country you go to, wherever it is in the world, they all have their own unique rules and regulations, and you have to follow all of those and adapt yourself to them. I am going to meet with the Prime Minister this Friday, and I'm really looking forward to that meeting, and I'll be at his disposal to talk about anything he wishes to talk about.
Right. You're actually here at the time when he's in the US, so that's a pretty interesting balance of power at work. And tell us more about the meeting with the Prime Minister. What is this concern?
Well, it'll be a meeting just to discuss. I think it'll be at his disposal. I'll be at his disposal to discuss the topics he's interested in. So I'll be in his service. But what I think one of the things he'll probably want to talk about is the digital economy and the Make in India campaign. So I think he has some really intriguing ideas, and I look forward to understanding them and making sure that I'm at his service.
Right. Globally, Jeff, you've also taken the hardware fight head on. I mean, so far we've had Kindle, Kindle Fire tablet, and now Fire phone and Fire TV. Does the idea of a Fire watch excite you? Someone shopping on Amazon by just flicking his or her watch. Is that going to be the next thing that you're excited about?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. There's so much. We live in an age of. It's a golden age of almost like every year there's some little piece of thing that in the past was just science fiction, and then it becomes reality. So, starting with smartphones, these are like supercomputers in your pocket, and I don't think 10 years ago anybody could have predicted what smartphones would have become. And they're bringing lots of people into these digital ecosystems. They're certainly great for Amazon India because they give people access. Perhaps watches or something will be the next one, but I don't think anybody knows for sure.
Right. You have Amazon payments. What did you make of Apple Pay? Tough competition?
Well, I have a long-standing practice of not talking about other companies, and I'll certainly stick to that. That's a practice I've had for 19 years, and so it's a good one. But again, every single thing we ever do, there's always intense competition, and that's how it should be. That's great for society. It's great for consumers. And our job is to just, anytime we have a service, we like to try and make it better and better and better, and hopefully customers recognize that and respond to it. But it's our job to make it as good as we can make it.
Right. You're also very active when it comes to investing in startups, be it Uber, Twitter, Airbnb. Does the Indian startup ecosystem excite you? Will you consider investing in startups here?
It's an interesting question. I think that the capacity for entrepreneurial thinking here in India is off the charts. And the degree to which Amazon we do have corporate development and teams that look inside India, and so perhaps we will invest in some of those companies. But I would tell you that when I meet with people in India, I sense a strong entrepreneurial culture, very energizing.
Right. Coming to the last part, Jeff, the last few questions really. You've run Amazon for 20 years now. Do you see yourself doing this for 20 more years, or do you think there should be a shelf life for the CEO? How do you really view that? Oh no,
they're going to have to carry me out on a stretcher. I took my family on vacation, my extended family, my wife's family, and there were almost 20 of us. We had a wonderful time, great food, and playing in the water. And when I got back to Seattle, I literally ran into the office. I danced into the office. I love my job. And I get to work in the future.
And how do you deal with people who don't share your energy and passion for work? The guys who don't come dancing to work like you do?
Well, I would advise anybody who is de-energized by work that they probably haven't found their passion yet. So, you need to find your passion. So like if you wake up one day and you say, I just don't like being a television personality. I got to get out of this. I'm de-energized. Well, then you should do that. You should figure it out. Maybe you want to be a chef. Maybe you want to be a dancer. I don't know what you want to do.
I'm not sure my boss is going to like that. Last two.
But you do need to follow your passions.
Right. Last two questions, Jeff. Steve Jobs has been in the news in the last few weeks, not because of the iPhone 6 Ventgate, but because it was revealed that he was actually a low-tech parent. Are you a low-tech parent as well, with strict curfews on gadget usage, internet usage?
I have 4 little kids. The oldest is 14 and the youngest is 9. And they have access to technology. They do play games, but we do limit the number of hours that they can spend doing that. And we have some rules about the finishing of the homework before you get to use any of these devices. So yeah, I think we're kind of middle of the road.
Right. Lastly, Jeff, there's this thing called the Book Bucket Challenge, which has become a rage on Facebook here, where you list out, 10 of your favorite books. I won't ask you to list 10, but we want you to take the Book Bucket Challenge on ET Now and give us a list of your 5 all-time favorite books.
Well, my favorite book of all time is a novel. It's Remains of the Day. And I love Remains of the Day because, for me, it's a story about regret and how easy it is in life to make decisions along the way that lead to the point where when you're 80 years old and you're looking back on your life, that you've made some serious regrets that you can't fix. It's too late. And so I would highly recommend Remains of the Day to anybody who wanted to think about that. And I think it's a really good way to kind of make some very personal decisions along the way in your life, what kinds of things you want to do, how you want to spend your time. For me, fiction is often, I read lots of nonfiction books, but I also read lots of fiction. Novels are, for me, the best way to live an alternate life,
right.
To sort of see a complete other path And some of those can be inspiring, and some of them can be sort of self-preventing prophecies. They're things that they're warning you, don't do this. So there's one for you.
Right. Thank you so much for talking to ET Now.
It's
been
my
a
pleasure.
complete pleasure.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.